The 13-hour drive wasn't the hard part. Competing in the 2001 National Forensics League National Tournament wasn't the hard part. Seeing the shaky pink letters on a chalkboard at the Oklahoma City National Memorial, that was the hard part. The day was Monday, June 11th, 2001, and I had three disparate thoughts on my mind. My performance in the upcoming tournament rounds, the fact that it was my first full day being 17 years old, and Timothy McVeigh. Monday, June 11th, I will never forget. I passed the dusty roads laced with snake-like wires and bulky camera equipment as I slowly walked to the memorial. All was silent except for the sounds of construction work clanging and grinding in the distance. The yellow police tape, the red and blue police lights, the perfect blue sky, the calico green lawn, and the springtime flowers along the road. Everything was colorful. When I finally reached the memorial, I noticed a young woman writing on one of 4 chalkboards embedded in the ground. Each was filled with tiny messages written like graffiti in all sorts of colorful chalk. I'll never forget that 4-word message. I miss you, Daddy. I turned away and walked toward the rectangular reflecting pool with 2 large gray arches like bookends on either side. The times 9:01 and 9:03 were inscribed on each tall concrete arch to signify the duration of the bombing. The water looked black. As I approached 9:03, I saw a bronze wall with faint handprints on the surface. I knelt down and dipped my hand in the warm water. I found an empty spot on the wall to place my wet hand and gently touched the surface of the metallic wall. I dried my hand off on my shirt sleeve and watched my print glue itself to the wall. Past the reflecting pool were the chairs. I'll never forget the chairs. Each chair had a single rose on the seat and a tiny American flag in the grass next to it. On the chairs were colorful bouquets, personal notes, bright balloons, pictures, and objects that represented the life of the one who was lost. There were 2 types of chairs, big and little. Like the personal messages on the chalkboard, the tiny ones were not obvious from far away. Each chair represented a family, a circle of friends, and a life that couldn't be replaced or mended. 6 years after the federal building exploded, and 6 hours after the man responsible for it was executed, I stood looking at those chairs in silence. Words could not alleviate the emotional impact of shaky chalk, handprints, or tiny chairs. There I was in Oklahoma to use my voice at a speech tournament. The irony. The memorial grounds were silent because everyone was speechless. Monday, June 11th, I learned that every moment is a memory, that time spent with family is precious and irreplaceable, and that in 2 minutes life can change from carefree and secure to terrifying and troubling. I dream that no matter how difficult the message may be to write, there would always be colored chalk to write it with.